we are inclined to call things by the wrong names. We call prosperity happiness, and adversity misery, even though adversity is the school of wisdom and often the way to eternal happiness. A true friend unbosoms freely, advises justly, assists readily, adventures boldly, takes all patiently, defends courageously, and continues a friend unchangeably. Justice is the insurance which we have on our lives and property. Obedience is the premium which we pay for it. He that does good for good's sake seeks neither paradise nor reward, but he is sure of both in the end. A good end cannot sanctify evil means, nor must we ever do evil, that good may come of it. Some are so very studious of learning what was done by the ancients, that they know not how to live with the moderns. If thou wouldst conquer thy weakness, thou must never gratify it. No man is compelled to evil, his consent only makes it his. It is no sin to be tempted, but to be overcome. Right is right, even if everyone is against it. And wrong is wrong, even if everyone is for it. Time is what we want most, but what we use worst. True silence is the rest of the mind and is to the spirit, what sleep is to the body, nourishment and refreshment. Force may make hypocrites, but it can never make converts. Sense shines with a double luster when it is set in humility. An able, yet humble man is a jewel worth a kingdom. Nothing does reason more right than the coolness of those that offer it. For truth often suffers more by the heat of its defenders than from the arguments of its opposers. Speak properly, and in as few words as you can, but always plainly. For the end of speech is not ostentation, but to be understood. We are apt to love praise, but not deserve it. But if we would deserve it, we must love virtue more than that. The jealous are troublesome to others, but a torment to themselves. Patience and diligence, like faith, remove mountains. Humility and knowledge in poor clothes excel pride and ignorance in costly attire. Force may subdue, but love gains, and he that forgives first wins the laurel. In marriage do thou be wise. Prefer the person before money, virtue before beauty, the mind before the body. Then thou hast a wife, a friend, a companion, a second self. Love grows, lust wastes by enjoyment. And the reason is that one springs from a union of souls, and the other from a union of sense. The secret of happiness is to count your blessings while others are adding up their troubles. Excess in apparel is another costly folly. The very trimming of the vain world would clothe all the naked ones. The only fountain in the wilderness of life, where man drinks of water totally unmixed with bitterness, is that which gushes for him in the calm and shady recess of domestic life. All excess is ill, but drunkenness is of the worst sort. It spoils health, dismounts the mind, and unmans men. It reveals secrets, is quarrelsome, lascivious, impudent, dangerous and mad. There can be no friendship where there is no freedom. Friendship loves a free air, and will not be fenced up in straight and narrow enclosures. The truest end of life is to know the life that never ends. In all debates, let truth be thy aim, not victory or an unjust interest. We are told truly that meekness and modesty are the rich and charming garments of the soul. The less showy our outward attire is, the more distinctly and brilliantly does the beauty of these inner garments shine. If we would mend the world, we should mend ourselves, and teach our children to be, not what we are, but what they should be. Never give out while there is hope, but hope not beyond reason, for that shows more desire than judgment. Knowledge is the treasure, but judgment the treasurer of a wise man. Dislike what deserves it, but never hate, for that is of the nature of malice, which is almost ever to persons, not things, and is one of the blackest qualities sin begets in the soul. Not to be provoked is best, but if moved, never correct till the fume is spent. For every stroke our fury strikes is sure to hit ourselves at last. For as men in battle are continually in the way of shot, so we, in this world, are ever within the reach of temptation. Friendship is the next pleasure we may hope for, and where we find it not at home, or have no home to find it in, we may seek it abroad. It is a union of spirits, a marriage of hearts, and the bond thereof virtue. He that has more knowledge than judgment, is made for another man's use, more than his own. I expect to pass through life but once. If therefore, there be any kindness I can show, or any good thing I can do to any fellow being, let me do it now, and not defer or neglect it, as I shall not pass this way again. If it be an evil to judge rashly, or untruly any single man, how much a greater sin it is to condemn a whole people. Governments, like clocks, go from the motion men give them. And as governments are made and moved by men, so by them they are ruined too. Wherefore governments rather depend upon men, than men upon governments. Let men be good, and the government cannot be bad. If it be ill, they will cure it. But if men be bad, let the government be never so good. They will endeavor to warp and spoil it to their turn. If you protect a man from folly, you will soon have a nation of fools. Inquire often, but judge rarely, and thou wilt not often be mistaken. It is profitable wisdom to know, when we have done enough. Much time and pains are spared, in not flattering ourselves against probabilities. It is wise not to seek a secret, and honest not to reveal one. Justice is justly represented blind, because she sees no difference in the parties concerned. She has but one scale and weight, for rich and poor, great and small. Neither despise nor oppose what thou dost not understand. Neither great nor good things were ever attained, without loss and hardships. Those that would reap and not labor, must faint with the wind, and perish in disappointments. Never esteem people, including yourself, more because they have money. Nor think less of anyone, including yourself, because they lack it. Virtue is the only just reason for respecting anyone. Lack of virtue the only reason for holding anyone in low regard. Nothing shows our weakness more, than to be so sharp-sighted at spying other men's faults, and so purblind about our own. Where thou art obliged to speak, be sure speak the truth. For equivocation is halfway to lying, as lying, the whole way to hell. Wherefore, brethren, let us be careful neither to outgo our guide, nor yet loiter behind him. Since he that makes haste, may miss his way, and he that stays behind, lose his guide.